Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. What the heck is last click attribution? Listen to this episode and find out. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hi, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I wanted to talk to you about something that I came across in the book that I'm writing. I'm writing a new website book, a follow-up to my original book, If Your Website Was an Employee, Would You Fire It? And I came across this phrase in there, last click attribution. And this is something that we all deal with, but we don't realize it. And that's the last click that someone makes before they contact us is the one that we give the most weight to in terms of how they found out about us. So if you think about the path that you or I or anybody takes to buy anything these days, to get information these days, it's a very convoluted path. We start somewhere. That's our zero moment of truth. So we start somewhere where we realize that we need something. And then we go to our first choice of source, whatever that is. And that might be Google, or if it's a wedding, it might be The Knot or Wedding Wire. It might be some other search engine. It might be a particular site. You might go right to Amazon if it's something, right? So that zero moment of truth. And then as you start looking and you find or don't find what you're looking for, you make other clicks and you go to other places. And maybe you look for some support by looking at reviews or something like that. And then you finally either make a purchase or you reach out to someone to get information. So if you're a service business, when somebody reaches out to you and they click on your website, the contact form, or they send you an email or a text, or you get a message on your social channel or on The Knot or Wedding Wire or Weddings Online or Hitched or something like that, and you get this inquiry, you give all the credit to that click. Right? Oh, they click from my website. And when I ask people, where do you get most of your business? And somebody says, oh, through my website. And I said, wrong answer. Right? You don't get business there. You got business because they came there from somewhere. How are they getting to your website? And then is that one step or is it many steps to get there? And that's how you're really getting your business. And yes, it's not that your website didn't help, because if they didn't like it, they wouldn't have kept going. So last click attribution is that we're giving the weight to the last thing without finding out how they got there. Because ultimately for our marketing, we want to know the path that people are taking to get to us. And the straighter that path, the better. And do we have any control over that, where it's they look in one place, they find us, and that's it. So think about on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you see the first thing that's there and you say, yep, that'll do. And you click buy now and that's it. So that was a very straight path. You decided to go to Amazon and you did a search, and the first thing that came up that looked good, you bought, and that was it. And that happens sometimes. And then other times it doesn't happen and you have to click again, or you see that it says, hey, if you like this, you might like that. And you go down that rabbit hole, and then you keep going and keep going. And maybe you leave because you have decision fatigue or decision paralysis, or maybe you buy something that was 7 clicks in. So what we want to think about in our businesses, because most of you listening, including me here, are service businesses, even though we might have products, right? I have books and I have audio programs and things, but essentially I'm a service business, as are you. So even if you're a dress shop where there's a product there, the dress, or you do favors and there's a product there with the favors, right? Or your caterer, the product is the food, you're really a service business. We are in the service industry. So when somebody makes that inquiry through your website or through something else that you've done over there, and we give weight to that last click, we also want to start thinking, do we know what happened before that? And can we influence that in any way? So if people are getting to your website through your social channel Can you influence that by doing more of the things that are getting more interaction than just keep throwing different stuff up and seeing what sticks, right? Can you study that a little bit more? If you're getting clicks from your website, are they on certain pages? Can we have better calls to action, more calls to action? You'll see that on different podcasts I've talked about here. You'll certainly see it in the new book that'll be out this fall. And can we do things to influence to get more of those inquiries instead of just leaving it as, oh, well, I'm getting business from my website, which again, you don't, you get business through your website because they always have to come from somewhere to get there. Even if they typed it in, they had to know it to type it in. So how did they do that? Was it a business card, a brochure? Did they see you at a wedding expo? Did they see you at a trade show? Did somebody mention their name and then you go and, just look it up? But even if you looked it up on Google, that's going through Google to get to your website. So you get business through your website, not from it. You get business through your ads. You get business through your social. Can you find that path before it to see more of, hey, we can influence this so we can get more of the traffic going through that path. Therefore, we can get more inquiries that hopefully would lead to more sales. So last click attribution is, yes, it's important to know where that click came from, but it's also important to know what happened before there if we can find that out, because then maybe we can influence that and get more of those things to happen. So if you've not heard of the term last click attribution, there you go. If you have heard of it before, I hope that it's in alignment with what you've heard, or maybe you haven't thought about it in a while and go, yeah, maybe there is something I can do there to get more through what I'm already doing by doing more of what is already getting those kind of actions to happen. Hope it helps. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com, alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again, email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.